Welcome to Gaming with MJ and Blue.
Let's talk gaming. That's right. We are here to talk about gaming. We're a podcast all about gaming. We talk weekly news, Minecraft, as well as Hytale. But that's not all. We also discuss all kinds of other gaming topics as we like, both past and present and future even. PCs, consoles, iPhone, whatever you like to play on, even board games. We talk about board games. So let's get into it. So the first thing we always do is we talk about what we've been doing for the past week. So I'll go ahead and go first. I've been playing Subnautica 2, and I gotta say, visually, very good. I'm not disappointed so far. I've expected it to be very visual, so it's been nice to see. It's been nice to get into the ocean again, play with fish, and of course our old favorites are there. Some of the fish are the old favorites, or similar. I do know it's easier to get water now because they basically it comes from a fish that just goes all the way down and just sits on the bottom. So that's fine. However, there are a couple of, shall we say, controversial issues.
Is
Reddit's kind of been
this
blowing up.
is this because of it being early access, or is it just the specific game design?
I think it's early access, but there is discussion. And the discussion is that maybe it's not, because
Mm.
there are apparently a couple of fauna that are unkillable.
Oh, okay.
And so some wondered if that's the design in the game, or if maybe they just haven't put the kill mechanic in for that particular fauna. But apparently there's like some of the bigger bosses are not killable.
Mm.
And that's kind of how it is in Subnautica 1 because, like the Leviathan, it's tough. It's not impossible, but it is tough to kill. So it's made to be sort of like in Minecraft where you've got what is it, the Guardian, the
Elder
the Warden,
Guardian?
the Warden,
Oh, the
the
Warden
Warden.
near the Deep
Yeah,
Dark. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's kind of really hard to kill. So most people just avoid him, right? You don't really
Hmm.
go down there to kill him and get because he doesn't produce any loot. So it's kind of a situation like that, at least in comparison in my mind, because it's just it becomes sort of an environment that you avoid or you just
Hmm.
pass through very quickly, right? As part of a story. However, ultimately the warden is killable, and even the Leviathan in Subnautica 1 was killable.
Hmm.
So, what do we do with this fauna now that we can't kill? So that's it's. Some people are saying, "Well, I feel cheated," you know, but then again, some are saying, "Well, maybe it's just not developed yet."
Yeah.
So there's that. That's kind of a controversial issue, I think. The other things I've been doing are not gaming related too much, but I purchased some Meshtastic toys. I'm a amateur radio operator, so I've got a ham license, so I like to play with certain things. One of the things I bought a couple of Meshtastic nodes.
What's that
Mainly,
exactly?
a Meshtastic is a sort of a mobile network that's not centric around around a technology. So it's
Okay.
you think about your mobile phone.
Hmm.
Without the mobile phone company, could you talk?
Probably not.
Nope, you can't. Well, unless you got some kind of third-party app that allowed you to just talk over the microphone or something like I guess if you were on Wi-Fi and you used like a voice app, like a walkie-talkie app, you could
Hmm.
probably do it. But then again, that means you'd have to go purchase the app from an app store. Meshtastic is meant to be completely non-centric, so anyone can just put up a node and they can just use their electronics knowledge to just put up a node,
Hmm.
and nothing's going to stop them. It's just there, and it's completely open channel. Everybody can talk. But now you can create private channels and you can encrypt them, and then you can have your own little conversation there. But it's more like they call it an EDC, everyday carry type of uh, you know disaster type of thing. Because the thing is during a disaster, like we've experienced it here, we've experienced tornadoes, and when that happens, it typically destroys the towers. Towers are very tall, susceptible to wind. So when they go down, then that means you're very lucky to be able to send an occasional text through.
Hmm.
And that is going to fail. It's going to fail for hours probably, and then finally get through. Whereas Meshtastic, it doesn't rely on towers. In fact, it's sort of, it's called a mesh because someone else can just set up their node, and what they'll do is they'll allow people to go through it to be able to. It comes up by default that way, so that you can go through my node to deliver your message to someone else. And so there's like an area that's just covered by nodes because people brought them up and used
Hmm.
them. So now you can talk long distances away, even though with the Meshtastic node you can only reach about 3 miles, 3 to 6, sometimes 9 miles, depending on line of sight. You can talk to somebody thousands of miles away as long as you have nodes between you and them. As long as there's
Hmm.
a node consistent. So it's sort of a, a cheapy, do-it-yourself kind of mobile network.
Hmm.
So I've done it. I've played with it. I've sent texts over it, and people, I'm like, "Hey, signal check. Can anyone hear me?" And somebody responds. So in the major town that's near us, the city, um, there are hundreds of nodes.
Hmm.
So I'm good all the way to my home, even beyond. So it's been kind of nice to play with it. It's something just I play with on the side because I kind of do disaster related stuff. I work in cybersecurity, and part of what we do is disaster recovery.
Hmm.
So it's sort of a network that you can throw together that will still be there. It just relies on physics. It doesn't rely on a company to have their tower up.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Part of that is also electronics toys. I like electronics toys, so I got a card pewter. They're out of stock,
Card
but
pewter.
it's called a card pewter. It's
That
basically a
sounds funny.
credit card size computer.
Hmm.
It's thicker than a credit card. It's we'll say probably an inch thick, but it's like the size of a credit card otherwise, and it has this little screen on it, and it's like a little keyboard, and it can also jump on that mesh network as long as you put the antennas on. But I ordered a little extra setup on it. It's pretty cheap. It's just basically a tiny little computer.
Hmm.
I'm gonna play with it. I'm gonna add an external monitor and have like a little. It's almost becomes about the size of uh, a little mint tin.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it becomes about that size. So I haven't got it yet. I went ahead and ordered it, even though it's out of stock. Oh, it's always out of stock.
Is that
But
like kind of similar to like the Raspberry Pi Zero, like
it
that really small?
It is similar. It does have the ability to like program other things. It has like external connectors on it. That's one of the
Hmm.
great things about the Raspberry Pi is the GPIO pins, so that you can control a sensor or whatever. And this can too.
Hmm.
It has all kinds of like external features on it where it can connect to something. It's got some external, you can even load your own software on it if you want.
Hmm.
You can erase the thing and load your own software if you want, or load some other software or whatever. People have load Linux on it and
Hmm.
play with it. It's got a really tiny screen on it, so that's the reason I'm gonna add like a little 2.8 inch. I got a 2.8 inch screen I bought, and you kind of have to. I'm gonna go ahead and 3D print the case, and I'm gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna have it like a little clamshell kind of look to it. I'm gonna play with that, but
Cool.
I've been kind of working on that, mostly purchasing it,
Hmm.
but I have been playing that Subnautica too, and I'm liking it so far. I'm still in the early grind,
Right.
so
Right.
but yeah,
I
I've been killed once already.
I haven't played it myself yet. I haven't purchased it yet. Honestly, I personally want to finish the first game. I never finished the first game
Oh,
before I get the second one. I don't think they necessarily connect story wise. I
they
don't
don't.
think they do.
No.
So I know
You're on
that's
a
not,
different planet. Yeah.
yeah, but definitely something I'm kind of curious about. I was watching a little bit of gameplay because I'm like, yeah, it's a survival game. Like I mean, there's not too much story early on. I feel like that really takes off later, so it didn't bother me to watch a little bit of early playthrough of it. To me, it just other than like a new map and some obviously the fish look a little different. It just kind of just watching it, it feels like it's basically just Subnautica one with a little bit of a refresh. I realize that what I saw was early in, so I'm hoping there's a lot more later into the game that really differentiates it from the first game. I really hope that's the case. But it was It does look beautiful though. Very nice. I do like that.
There is some, early access type of look to it. Like
Hmm.
we'll finish this later, placeholder type stuff.
Yeah.
So there, you run into that. It's there. So I think it's just a different story. You get to
Hmm.
continue the story on a different planet. That kind
Yeah.
of thing. Nothing amazing yet, but hopefully, like you said, it's kind of like Subnautica 1. This is Subnautica 2. We're just
Hmm.
extending the story. Different planet. Okay. Uh, it did reference the other story, Subnautica 1, sort of in passing. Like
Hmm.
the AI was talking about somebody who did something,
Hmm.
so you'll be able to do it. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I was there. I did that,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's funny. Well, yeah,
So what do you,
so I'm interested. I this week I just got back from our trip, which I actually got to see you in person, MJ. That was
hey,
fun.
we got,
We got to hang out.
bro,
We did not have enough time to do the podcast in person. That would have been a lot
that
of
would have
fun.
been
I
nice.
actually had a few people ask, "Are you going to do your podcast together?" I'm like, I
Mm.
don't think we have enough time for it. I wish we did.
I mean, you had to bring equipment too and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it was just
We,
not gonna quite work out.
but we did play.
We did play some games. Yeah,
We played some games.
we played Archduke, which was a card game that
You taught me
I
Archduke, yeah.
think I mentioned before in this podcast. But that was a lot of fun. We enjoyed that. We had 4 people playing, which was a good number. You can have up to 6. So
I'm gonna guess
um,
my wife enjoyed it because it suddenly appeared in the wish list. Maybe.
ah,
Oh,
so I'm guessing she did. Yeah, that's a good thing. We got to play it again yesterday too. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So I like that game a lot. It's very enjoyable. And then video game wise, I haven't really gotten a chance to play much because I've been recovering from the trip. It was not what I would consider a relaxing trip. It was fun. We got to hang out with people, but we were going a lot. So it wasn't really the type of vacation or trip that you just kind of chilled and relaxed with. So getting home, I did not feel well rested. I am actually been struggling with being exhausted all week. So gaming was not really high in my mental capacity this week.
you go
But
camping a lot. Is camping relaxing for you?
for us it is, yeah.
Huh?
So it's just a
Because that feels like work to me.
the initial setup is work, but once you have everything set up, it only takes maybe an hour or 2 to really set up at most. And then you have your whole camping trip where you just relax, and then you have a couple hours of tear down at the end of the trip. So it's not too bad. And what's relaxing to me is just chilling around a campfire. So yeah,
That is nice.
camping is relaxing for me, but I agree the initial there and initial back is kind of hectic trying to get everything where you want it. But I did mess around with GOG. So anybody who maybe has never heard of GOG before, it is essentially a game repository like Steam. So you can go on it and you can buy games. One thing that GOG has compared to a lot of these other platforms, and it's not everything, but they have a lot of classic games that you can't find anywhere else. So that's kind of why I decided let me just play around with it. And while I was playing around with it, I found out I can actually link my Epic Games Store account to it, and I could even link my Steam account to it. So I can see all of my games between both platforms in one location, which is awesome because Epic has that deal where they give you a free game or two every month or so, or every couple weeks or whatever it is. So it's kind of cool. You can kind of collect games that way, and problem you get to the point where it's like, okay, I haven't tried any of these games, even though I've been collecting them, but they're there. If you ever get the urge to, especially if it's a game you really actually were looking forward to play around with. But GOG is actually a pretty neat platform. They they talk a lot about the fact that if you buy these games on platforms like Steam, if Steam were to disappear tomorrow, you would lose access to your games basically. So, but with them, you not only get the game, but you get the full uh, uh, executable file and everything in order to run the game properly. whereas with Steam, it's connected to their system. Again, that's I not 100% if I'm understanding that the way it's meant, but that's what I was understanding. So for them, you get everything, and you don't have to worry about losing your games. You just save it to maybe a hard drive for your own what do you call it, archiving purposes, and then you can always have that with you. So a couple games I will throw out there that they have on GOG that I'm very interested in getting. And I love it because they're old, so they are also cheap, basically. But there's two Star Trek games I really wanted. I played when I was a kid. I absolutely loved was Star Trek Armada and Star Trek Armada 2. I've mentioned those games before. Those are strategy, top-down strategy games. You're making base areas. You're doing all this different stuff. They're basically $10 a piece. That's really not too bad. Another game though that I found that I forgot about that I'm really interested is the Journeyman Project 3 Legacy of Time. Now that is a point and click game, kind of reminiscent of games like Myst. So if you've ever played Myst before, Riven, the whole series, it's sort of like a puzzler where you have to figure out different things. But the narrative is really nice, and they have real life actors in the game, so you're seeing a video game environment with real people acting in it. Um, and it looks like a fun. Like I've played it before. It is a fun game. So not a super long game, and it's only like $6. So I think I would pick that one up at some point too, especially because of the price. But yeah, so GOG, if you're interested, if there's a game that you can't find that's an old game and you'd like to see, GOG might have it. So maybe that would be a good platform for you to purchase games through, as well as Steam and Epic and all these other guys that they have. So anyway, that's really all I've really had been working on this week. And gaming wise, just not a whole lot. But that's what happens when you get back from a trip, right?
And the visuals remind me of a Half-Life a little bit, only a little more polished.
As far as the
As
Journeyman game,
far as a journeyman game, yeah.
yeah, it's
Got like
actually
some
a lot of fun.
cutscenes. Huh.
Yeah, there's a
Interesting.
couple. There's a couple. I think It's either the first game in that series or the second. There's a. I think the way you win, or there's like a couple choices in the game where if you pick wrong, you actually lose the game. So you can, which is not good because in those types of games, it's like it's a
Ouch.
story. It's kind of linear. Losing the game is a bit rough, but I don't remember if that was an issue with the third installment. And from what I understood, you don't need to play the other games before the third one. The third one isn't tie into the other games barely at all. So you can get by with just playing the third one if you wanted. Anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
that's
Yeah.
me.
Looks good. Looks good. All right. So let's move on to our next segment, which we will skip because that's our guest segment, but we don't have a guest this time. So let's get into the news. The first thing I had here was that this kind of intrigued me because of a topic we bring up sometimes. It is the news about Forza Horizon 6. It is available. It is not early access yet, unless you pay for the premium edition, and it is $119. So if you want to play right now, you can play in early access, but it will cost you $119, which is more than what it'll cost later for the early access, because early access later is going to be, well, there's two versions at later, which I know that's confusing. There's a normal
A
version,
little bit.
which is what, $60, and then there's a deluxe edition for a little more. So yeah, you're getting into the, to me, that means you're getting into the 100 plus AAA game titles. Very expensive. But apparently people have bought it, which is a little disturbing trend. I'm like, stop, people, please.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna set a precedent here that you can charge $100 for a game and be okay, because there were a record number of people playing it. 178,009 concurrent players. So, wow. By comparison, We can think about Subnautica 2 when the first 12 hours it released, they smashed some records there too. They
Mm,
basically went over $1 million in sales. So think about it, $2 million in sales in the first
yeah,
12 hours.
that's crazy. Like,
Wow, right?
because that's, I mean, it's a $30 game, so you're so what, about $60 million they made on this game in 12 hours. Like, that's crazy. Did I
Yeah.
get the math wrong? Right? No, that was right. Right?
Yeah, it's oh my goodness. You think about that many players. Now that many people were playing at the same time. There could have been other people that purchased it but not playing at that time. So they may probably mean more than that. I mean, it
Hmm.
was is wow, you know. To me, this sets a bad precedent that we as a community are going to pay more than $100, and it also sets another bad precedent that yes, we'll pay your broken game as long as you give it to me right now.
Hmm.
So think about how you have had buyer's remorse for a game that you prepaid for, and then when you finally got it, it was like, nah, I don't like this very much. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have prepaid for it and paid full price, right?
Yeah.
I've been there. I did that. I did that for No Man's Sky. I am one of those people that paid $60 for No Man's Sky because of the hype. I bought it and I played it. I played the heck out of it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I got my enjoyment out of it. I didn't hate it. I wasn't like mad about it. A lot of
Hmm.
people were mad about it. So they regretted paying $60 for it. And now what's it cost? It's way less than $60 to buy it now.
Pretty
So
frequently, yeah.
apparently I paid that early access tax, right? But that is the only game I've ever done that. And I have forbidden myself to ever prepay for a game ever again.
Mm.
So far, I have been disciplined and I've never done that. But then again, what if it was something like Subnautica 2, where it's like I've played Subnautica 1, I like Subnautica 1,
Hmm.
same company. I mean, maybe the developers changed a little bit, but would I go ahead and purchase it because of the experience with it? Well, at least I have a little bit to go on. I'm not just purchasing it blindly.
Yeah.
So to me, you just purchased. That's a bunch of people. That's 178,000 people at least that are going to experience some buyer's remorse.
Hmm.
Because here in a few weeks, however long really, someone else is going to be able to buy it for half the price and get nearly the same experience. And they'll just have to wait. Wow. Half the price, right?
Hmm.
Remember, the regular edition's only $60. And
Yeah.
gamers, we don't have big budgets sometimes. Gamers are, low budget kind of things. $60 is already too much. I don't like the precedent of $60 really.
That's
But
pushing it for me too.
I have done it once in my life. So don't start me on it. Anyway, I brought that up because of the precedent it set. So that's the reason I like that as a newsworthy item this week.
Yeah.
The other thing
Yeah.
is just, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just say, yeah, then that's kind of rough.
It
But
is right.
I honestly, I never thought we'd get to a point where $120 for premium anything was going to happen with games. So the fact that we're there blows my mind. So
I mean, that's what, 1/5 of purchasing an Xbox?
yeah,
The console, the whole
yeah,
console.
it's crazy.
Wow. I mean, ugh, But then again, gamers have a lot of money, don't they?
Sometimes they
Billions
don't.
and billions of dollar industry, right? So,
They're getting it somehow, right?
yeah. The only other news item I had was a clock ticking. May 27th, they will allow 5,000 users to get a game called Heavy Rain for free. It's a story-driven game. A little dark for me. I won't be in line. I promise that. But clock is ticking. Throw it out there if you want it. But sort of a news item.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. There's people out there that care about it.
It's
So
kind of a dark story. If I understand it right, somebody loses their kid, and they kind of go on a tear, a very vengeful tear,
mm,
to make people suffer for it, or something like that. That's loosely, I think that's the story. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, any case, so that's something you wanted. It's an old game, but
yeah,
it came out in like 2013 or something. A little bit old game.
No, well, these days, yeah, that's a bit old. Cool.
All right, you want to get into the Minecraft and Hytale?
Sounds good.
So let's get into Minecraft. What would you like to talk about?
All right. So there's actually a few really good things with the latest snapshots. So stuff we can look forward to in the next full release of Minecraft. Um, just a few things that I saw in their little logs that they have is a new music disc. Bounce is what it's called. I got a chance to listen to it before um, we started the podcast tonight. I actually like it. Like it fits Minecraft's music disc setup really well. A lot of what would you say, MJ? You said synths and
Yeah, I'd say it's a little synth poppy,
mhm,
but
yeah,
matches the vibe.
yeah, and I liked it a lot. Like I like yeah, I could have this jamming out while I'm playing. That'd be good.
Hmm.
So that was cool, and it also includes 5 new music tracks as well. So it's not just that. As far as the music, they have some more to it. But now we're getting into stuff that I'm actually very interested and curious on. And Java is now getting a proper friends list. So this is going to be really cool
That's
because
new.
Bedrock's had this for a while. They've been able
Yeah,
to, I think they have, right? You've been able to add friends and then, yeah, no, they have. Yeah, yeah. You
yeah. It
can add friends and follow them and
works through the Microsoft Xbox thing, doesn't
mhm,
it? Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. But, you could easily, and this is what was nice, a nice feature with Bedrock is if you had a friend playing, and as long as they set it up so the world is joinable, you could actually jump in and play on their world while they're playing, which is actually a really nice feature. It's like a low key, cheap version of a server almost. So you and your friends could jump in on somebody's game. What's really cool though is now they are adding that ability for Java as well. So you have a friends list, and now you're going to be able to jump into their game through the peer to peer systems that they have. So even if you're not on the same network, which is traditionally how Minecraft would work, if you're playing internally, you'd have to be on the same internet in order to play on the same world without the use of a server. But now, doesn't matter where you are, you can join a friend's world with that peer to peer system. So I think this is an awesome addition. I'm glad Java is finally getting this because this is going to help out a lot of people that maybe want to play with friends, but they just don't want to spend the money for a server and or have the hardware to maybe set up a server. But a friend wants to just jump on and play, they can. So
Yeah, Minecraft has always been kind of weak. The Java version has always been kind of weak on the peer-to-peer, but strong
mhm.
on setting up a server.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bedrock has been strong on peer-to-peer, a little bit weak on setting up a server.
Hmm.
So it's kind of opposites. So it's good to see Java kind of catch up on that. That's interesting. So you get through the whole fix your firewall and make a
Yeah.
forwarder port through whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice not having to worry so much about that anymore.
I mean, I'm a network guy, so none of that's too hard for me. But it does take time. Like you have to figure
Yeah.
that out, set it up, test it. Okay, good. So it's and being a Linux guy, I find it easy to set up a server. But
Yeah.
then
You
again,
have the experience.
I totally understand how that's not other people's thing, right? So
Hmm.
that's totally understandable. Yeah,
But that I think covers all the Minecraft stuff.
yeah,
At least the
yeah.
big ones that I saw, other than a bunch of bug fixes that they usually have.
And I like this. I like to see music addition to it. See
Hmm.
some artists get out there and make some music. Okay, how about a Hytale? What do
I
you
tell.
what do you see on? They've got a little updated animations. I know.
Hmm.
What else do they have?
Yeah, that's the thing with Hytale is like it's a lot of just little stuff right now because they're just trying to polish it. I feel like I say that almost every week. Every once in a while they have like a feature that's like, oh, that's really cool. I'm really glad they're pulling that into the game. This week I didn't see too much as far as like blew my socks off. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like you mentioned that animation, they updated the boogie dance animation that they
Hmm.
have. Um, This was kind of interesting. I think I understand where it's going. It's honestly it's been a while since I actually played Hytale, but I do think I understand what it's mentioning. It said that in the inventory screen, it's now going to show you the number of collected memories that you have discovered, but that you still need to restore. So again, I'm trying to remember how this works, but you collect memories every time you interact with something new, a new mob, whatever, new character, and then the way you restore them is going back to that hub world, Aura or Oasis or Aura, right, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Anyway, you go to that world and then you go to the little place, and then you
Go to
restore
the little
those things.
gazebo and you touch the
Yep,
thing and it
yep.
does something to you, yeah.
Yeah. So now
Which
now it's
still
going to
another thing.
display that. So it's going to be a lot easier for you to realize like, oh, I still have this many I have to go do. Which is I think is a
Okay.
good thing. And of course, tons of creative mode tools that have been reworked and adjusted and added, and really going to be nice for like map makers and different things like that. So
I feel like they've been working in behind the scenes on the creative stuff, just trying to get past that, and then they had to throw something out for the rest of us.
yeah.
Well, let's give them a dance, boogie dance thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
they'll be happy. They'll be quiet now.
Yeah, until they go and they get a little further. I think we're just going to see a lot of these little things until they hit a certain point, which is fine. I mean, they have tons of people they've hired for the development of this game, so I have a feeling when we don't hear a lot of news, it's because a majority of them are hard at work at big features. So it's just a matter of time before you have much more interesting, in my opinion, features that are going to pop out.
It feels like we're being hopeful, but I think they're out there doing that. Feels like
I think so.
feels
They've
like they're working hard on it.
Yeah, they've emphasized so much how they want to do this for the fan base
Yeah,
that, and I do feel like they aren't just saying that. Like they're pushing to get a product out. They're allowing people to play with it early on, despite all of its issues. They know people aren't going to necessarily be happy with the challenges or issues that they have, but they know people want to play and they want to learn how to customize and do all the fun stuff. They're making it so the fans can customize basically everything as reasonably easy as possible. So it's nice to see. I do think they care about the fan base, and that's a really good thing for a company that's trying to make a game. If you care about your fan base, that is awesome. It's not like all of these stupid mobile games that are time based and you have to sit there and wait for energy to redo before you could do something else like that, or you could spend money to make it go faster. Like those people, those are like the worst game developers in the world, in my opinion, because it's just a cash grab. You guys just want money. You're not making a truly fun game. You have an interesting concept, but it's not really, it's blown out of proportion because of all the stupid stuff that you're doing to pull more and more money out of us. We've talked about that before, but Hytale, I think, is one of those companies that they do care, but we just got to be patient for the everything that we really want in the game. It's going to take a while.
it's only been a couple months, so I'm not too worried about it. March,
Yeah.
I know, is like I keep looking at that date because I load it up and it tells me the version of the server that we're playing because they haven't made any updates to the server. To the client, they've made some few little updates, but the server still stays the same because when I go into the server and say update, it's just the same version. So, like, there's no major changes since March 26th. That's the version
Mm.
of the server that plays. So it's been a while. It's a little while. It's a couple months, but I'll be patient right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the next segment, which is tidbits of the week. And I've already mentioned Subnautica 2. It is out. We talked about it a lot, and so now it's finally out. I wasn't sure when it
Mhm.
was coming out, and then it suddenly came out, and I'm like, oh, I don't have the money, so I had to kind of wait a little bit
Yep.
for my little refresh of my little budget for gaming, and then it finally reset, and I was like, I'm gonna grab it first thing.
Nice.
So it's still in the early access cost.
Hmm.
It wasn't on sale, but it is lower because it's early access right now. So I think it's
Yeah.
about $26 is what I remember. But anyway,
Gotcha.
I picked it up. I've been playing it. They did have 2 million in sales, like we said, in the first
That's
12 hours.
amazing.
So
Yeah, that's so good.
that's, I mean, good for them for taking this over,
Yeah.
redoing everything, hiring the people to work on it, refreshing things, making a new world, new mechanics, a little bit of new mechanics, not a lot. Like you said, it looks very similar. And then they've got those unkillable fish problems. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. Patience, people. Patience. It is still early access. Okay, very early access. The only other thing I could find was I was kind of interested in this website that was. This is not. Well, I guess it's game related because Lego is a game, right? Lego counts as a
Lego,
game.
even building them, I consider Legos a puzzle. It's an advanced
Right?
puzzle in my opinion, and puzzles are games.
It's creative, right?
It's
You're
very creative. Yeah,
creative
I
playing.
I am 100% on board with Lego being considered a game.
Well, there used to be a place called Mechabricks that you could go and you could download
Hmm.
the STL files and be able to print your own Legos. Now,
Yeah.
I gather this probably wasn't something that Lego likes you to do, but you could do it.
Hmm.
And honestly, anybody could just take a Lego brick and like make it in some kind of, way and put it into an STL file and then print as
Hmm.
many as I want. So,
Yeah.
granted, it's probably going to be, you can print in ABS. Most people with printers usually do PLA or something like that. So it's a little bit different, but you still can get pretty close to what a real Lego is. Now, everybody
Hmm.
likes the real Lego look, the real feel of Lego and look and the icon and, all that. There is good reasons to pay for that because it's a quality product. But you can get close, to it,
Yeah.
especially if you need some particular rare item you can't find. It's always been very good to go to that site, be able to get it. But now the website it's not down. It just has a message saying we'll be back later. It's called
Yeah.
Mechabricks, M-A-C-A bricks.com. So I keep my eye out. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
I hope it
We'll
is.
see.
Like I actually that was something I wanted to do. I actually wanted to play around with making some Legos. Like I thought that'd be
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
There are people that still do it and they don't use Mechabricks, but I guess Mechabricks had the most Lego like environment. So like you could I'm imagining, you could type in the number of the Lego, like 3101. That's the little 4x4 piece or whatever. And so you could just go there, get it, and say, I need 10 of those, and then print them, that kind of thing. So I hope it comes back. They do say we'll be back later, so
Yeah.
that's giving you a little bit of hope.
Maybe they're refining the website so it's a little bit easier, and maybe they have better looking up options, because I've played around with that site just a little bit, and it's not super easy to look up a specific Lego brick, and it's kind of a challenge.
Oh,
The specialty ones, like they do have a lot of them,
yeah.
but they're just not easy to look up. So I'm kind of hopeful that maybe they're revamping the website a little bit and
I mean,
making that a little bit better.
who wouldn't want to have the that $10,000 golden what is it? I can't remember what it is of, but it's like a golden. What is it? A C3PO or something like that? It's actually gold.
I
I
have no
can't. I
idea.
can't remember. There's like a real gold brick. Like
Mm,
there's like a real gold minifigure. There's like a chrome minifigure that's worth like $1,000 or there's some crazy stuff out there. But and it's not made of gold, right? But
yeah.
you can have it. You can paint it gold and you can say, hey, here's, that's the centerpiece of my design or something like that. And now you don't have to go out and pay $10,000 for it. You can just print it and then you can have your own little version of it, and, it's not, I'm not, some people do that to cheat and they actually, try to sell it for a few $100s on eBay. They'll call it the real thing, the real deal. But, buyer beware. There's only like a certain amount, do your research. There's only a certain amount of these. For reasons, there are certain amounts of these. Like there's that one gold brick that's, there was only a few made, and they were made for people who attended a particular employees only type of conference or something at Lego.
Mm,
So only those exist. So,
collectors are going crazy for them, kind
oh,
of thing.
collectors go
Yeah.
nuts for it. Yeah.
Hmm.
If you found one, you'd probably have a story there. In other words, if you found it in a garage sale, somebody would be like, "Oh yeah, my grandma used to work at Lego back in the day." There would have to be a story there.
Yeah, yeah.
because that's the only reason that that person would have that brick. So anyway, yeah, it's
It's
Lego's its
funny.
own whole thing, right? So, but
It
I love
is.
Legos. I
I
have a
wish they
bucket
weren't so
full of Legos.
expensive.
To me, they're a little expensive, right?
Yeah.
If
That's
you
why if
get
I could print some of my own, I would love that.
yeah,
Save some money, you know? That would be
a little bit
perfect.
lower quality would be okay,
Well, of course, you got to fast face that, right?
but I'd be okay. If I had a particular item I couldn't find or something like that, that would be great.
Mhm.
All right, we're up to the point of doing our tools for the week. This is like a website or a program or a mod or whatever that we
Mhm.
like in particular. So I'll let you start this one. Go
All
ahead.
right. So I just had one I was going to mention, and that was a website slash program, I guess you could say, but it's called Tinkercad. So for any of you who are fans of 3D printing, I don't think I've mentioned this one before, but Tinkercad is an awesome, uh, just it's very beginner friendly if you want to learn how to model things. It doesn't do like the fancy kind of like sculpting style modeling where you're creating characters and all that. It doesn't do that very well. But if you're trying to create simple geometry, you're trying to create a box of some kind, but with some special features, a lot of it's very doable with Tinkercad. Just as an example, one of the things that I was working on recently was my wife wanted some tea bag holders for the drawer. So we have a bunch of boxes of teas, and it's just kind of like all haphazard thrown in there. So she was wanting me to just have be able to 3D print some nice organizers for it. So I went into Tinkercad. I pulled up the software. I was able to create a simple box. It was very easy out of just some simple squares, and you were able to make it look really good. But I also added a lid with a little ability to have a snap on where it will flip open and close. So and it's connected. So uh, it's a little bit of basic engineering, I guess you could say, very simple engineering that I was able to do. Um, Nothing fancy, right? It's just a little, it just snaps into place and then you can open and close it very easily. So she has two types of teas right now that are bags, like just the little bags, and she wanted to get rid of the boxes. So now she has ones with lids, and then we have a bunch of the little bags with the paper covers around them, standard ones. And then those, she's like, I don't want a lid on those. So I'm just going to be able to print a simple box for those. But Tinkercad is just very easy to make basic stuff. And if you're skilled enough, you can do a lot more advanced things as well. It is limited. There's other softwares and programs if you want to get really fancy into designing things. And of course, YouTube's a great place for tutorials if you want to learn how to do some of that stuff. I'm planning on getting into another program called, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but it's called FreeCAD. And it's a completely free CAD software, which is really good. But it's got a lot of the features that the big name brand CAD software has. So, but Tinkercad, play around with it. It's very simple. Doesn't take a lot to learn how to use it, and it's a good website. I like it.
Google had their own thing that it's called SketchUp. SketchUp.
I've heard of
Uh,
SketchUp. Yeah.
I think I've used it like once. I kind of played with it because it was a cool idea, but they have a kind of a weird take on CAD software.
Mm.
I think they use it to build the little buildings that you see in the 3D version of maps.
Mm.
So it's kind of interesting. You can also do it offline and make things, but I've never seen anybody make something and then 3D print it. But I am sure someone's done that, probably tried it.
It's probably possible.
But yeah, that's cool. It's what a nice skill too. That if
Mm-hmm.
early in your life you can kind of play with CAD and get used to CAD, well, later you could be a draftsman.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have a good skill, and if you get the education, you could be an architect.
Mm-hmm.
So I had two, and the reason for that is because this first one I feel like kind of everybody knows about. I don't know if you knew about it, but
I have not heard of it. No.
if you're an Amazon shopper, there's a website. It's called camelcamelcamel.com. So 3camels.com. And what it does is it shows you the history of an item, the price history. They also make if you have Chrome or a Chrome derivative browser, you can load an extension, their Camel extension, and it will, as you're on Amazon and looking around, you can open it and or call it up, and it'll give you like a little chart of what the history of its price has been. So you can kind of look at it and say, well, it's on sale, but is this the best price it's ever had? And you could look back in time and say, no, it's been lower. So you can you can judge for yourself based on how you feel about it. Like, well, I'll wait for a better sale, or maybe with the economy, this is as good as it's going to get. There's also, if you make an account on camel.com, you can camel.com, you can set alerts in. So say something that you really, really want, but it needs to kind of come lower for you to afford it. Well, then you can kind of set an alert and say, hey, this popped up, and you can go grab it. So
Mm.
I feel like that's a pretty popular website. So I kind of wanted to come up with something else too.
Mhm.
And that was afraid.org, AFRAID.org. And this has been around a while too. A little more technical, but if you wanted to have, like, say you did all the work to get your Minecraft server up and going at your house, and you've gotten all the port forwarding and all that going, well, do you really want to keep just giving people IP addresses? Well, how about giving them a name? And maybe you've even gone to the point of purchasing a name for yourself. So say you bought a domain name on internet. Well, you can attach it to afraid.org. And then for free, afraid.org will run your DNS for you so that
Mm.
you'll be able to create entries in your DNS so that you can say, okay, Minecraft dot blah blah blah.com, because I own blah blah blah.com. I can now say I can now set up a server called Minecraft dot blah blah blah.com. So now I can just tell my friends, hey, go to Minecraft dot blah blah blah.com. I no longer have to like copy and paste the IP address that everybody forgets. You can just say, just remember the name, okay? Just remember the name. Now, if you don't own a name, they do have names there that you can use. So I don't know how that works exactly. I've never done that because I've always owned a name. But apparently they have some names that they don't mind you borrowing as
Mhm.
long as you can create something unique. I think one of them is called Moo, which is MOOO.com, I think. So if you're okay with just setting a blah 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 name .moo.com, you can use theirs. And so you just have to tell people, go to my Minecraft special name blah 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 dot moo.com, and you can use that one and get there. But anyway, I
Mm.
thought it was an interesting free service that they offer. I have used it for many decades now, and they do require that you regularly log in. Otherwise, they'll delete your account, and they do it for free. So they've got to keep make sure the records that they're keeping for you are still useful,
Yeah.
right? Still
Yeah.
being used, or otherwise they'll delete your account. But I think it's every 6 months. It's not too bad. Plus, there's no ads, none of that stuff. You don't get
Mm.
a pop-up ad just because you put up a website or something like that. They stay out of the way. So it's kind of a neat little service that they do for you. You can go to the website, look at their stats, see how long they've been in business, how many names they use. So something I've used, and maybe it's useful for you. All right.
I,
How about our primary topic? This time we're going to talk about cloud gaming.
cloud gaming. Sorry.
Now, I do quite a bit of cloud gaming. Well, I mean, I have done some cloud gaming. Early on, I was involved in the beta testing of cloud gaming.
For what?
Uh, I beta tested NVIDIA GeForce Now back when they
Oh
were
yeah, yeah.
in beta.
GeForce Now. Yep.
So I'm considered grandfathered in,
Hmm.
so my account is actually like a founder's account because it transferred into a founder's account after a few years. And that's just what they did with us.
Mm.
And it was because we helped out a long time ago, and we did it for free back in the day. And so it was nice to be able to just open up your Steam. It'll basically open up this app, and it opens up your Steam library, and then you can just pick the game, as long as it's a game that they support, that you can
Hmm.
just load it up, and it would be right there. So if your hardware wouldn't support it, or if your hardware wouldn't go into the higher graphics modes that you like, as long as you had a decent connection to the internet, then you could play the game. So I use it for a lot of cross-platform stuff. Sometimes I do the work of trying to get like a Windows game working on my Mac. Sometimes I do because they've got it pretty easy. Or maybe it's kind of a retro game. It's not too hard to to duplicate the Windows libraries and maybe use Wine or Windows Emulator or something like that. But sometimes it's a little bit tough. I've actually owned Crossover too. Crossover is basically a fork of Wine that someone kind of curates a little better. And so they make it where you can load up certain specific games that they've already worked on. And they've got a set of settings that work really well for that game. So other people have contributed. And so you can just copy that and grab it and then load it up. So I own that too. But sometimes it's a little bit of work and you don't want to do that. And so I'm like, well, I'll just play on my cloud gaming service. So you probably don't want to know what I pay for it because you can't get this account anymore, right? Because I'm at a lower, it's at the lowest tier,
Yeah,
but I pay less than the lowest tier for that low
which
tier,
is really nice.
versus about half what you pay for the basic tier for NVIDIA. So I pay that, and I have for months. If I ever close my account, I lose it. If I ever miss a payment, I lose it. So
Mm,
they hang on to those founders accounts pretty hard. I've had to explain a few times what that charge is, you know, but I like keeping it for now. I hate the idea of giving NVIDIA money because they're just a super rich um,
yeah.
business, which we've talked about that in the past. But then again, it's a few dollars, so it's not
hmm
too bad. So I kind of like it. Now, that's my experience in cloud gaming. I've been in it quite a while,
hmm
so I can talk about my experience some more. But I don't want to block you out if you want to mention cloud
Oh,
gaming.
you're good. Yeah, I have not messed around with GeForce Now because I never got into it. I know they do have a degree of a free one, right? But it's like for only like an hour at a time, or
Yeah,
isn't that something like that? Like you
something
can
like
do
that.
it. Um, but I imagine it's really good for those Windows only games, right? To run on your Mac.
Hmm.
That's one of those big reasons, right? You
Or if
have
you
that,
don't
right?
have the hardware, right? Like you don't have
That
the
too,
hardware,
yeah.
or you
Your
want to run
computer can't
Linux.
handle it. Yeah.
You want to run Linux, but you want to run a Windows game. I mean,
Mhm.
makes it easy.
Yeah. So for me, I have played around. There's also means of doing self-hosted cloud gaming, which is actually again I one of those things where you probably need to have a little bit more of a powerful computer to do this. But there's programs called Apollo and Moonlight, I think, and it allows you to access your personal computer from your phone, your tablet, whatever you got, wherever you are. You kind of have to use them in conjunction with a program called Tailscale. So Tailscale is basically a personal VPN that you can get for your computer. So your computer runs its own VPN, and then you can connect to it using Apollo and Moonlight. And it allows you to basically set it up so you can just have Steam Big Picture mode. You can access that. You can play around with it, and then it it actually works halfway decent. Um, Obviously, you need to have good internet to make this work really well. But if you do have good internet, let's say just as an example, you have fiber, and it's directly connected to the system like that. There's a good chance that you should be able to run these programs very easily. Um, if you don't have fiber, and especially if you're running off Wi-Fi, you're probably not going to have the best gaming performance. It may work okay, but I'm pretty sure you're going to have a lot of hiccups. So I've played around with it with my computer, and I don't have fiber. I have a fiber supported network, but we don't have true fiber in our area yet. We're supposed to get it somewhat soon. And when that happens, that'll be nice. But being able to actually access your computer and play your games from wherever you are in the world, as long as you have a decent internet connection, is pretty awesome. And you can do it locally on your own computer now. You just got to kind of look at it a little bit. I would do research a little bit, make sure you're getting the right stuff. And there's some YouTubers that kind of talk about it and emphasize it a little bit. And that's how I learned about it. And I liked it. It was good.
It's good for people that say they use Chromebook and they want to play a Windows game or something like that.
hmm
It works. Anywhere you have just a browser, you can play like a Windows game.
Mhm.
So I've even sat on the couch and like I wonder if this works, and I loaded up with my phone.
Mhm.
I loaded up a game, and so having that ability is pretty nice. If you got a little controller that's connected to your phone, maybe you did a
Mhm.
Bluetooth connection, and you've got your little controller with your phone, and you want to just load up that game, you can play it,
Yeah.
and it's decent. It's not like knock your socks off, but it is like, hey, I can play it. I can play it.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be nice if it worked on something like, I don't know if it does because I don't have one, but say you had the Steam Deck.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know if the Steam Deck has a web browser,
It
but I would bet
does.
if it does, then you can connect to NVIDIA.com and you can load it up and you can play.
Mhm.
So, that way you can play something that maybe it doesn't support natively,
Yeah.
but you can play through a web browser. And you
Mhm.
might think, okay, well, you're playing in a web browser window? No, 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 no. It takes over the computer. Like it
Yeah.
does a full screen kind of thing, and then it'll be like you're watching a video. So you get
Mhm.
those, like you said, a hiccup, right? So if you lose some, packet, you have some packet loss on your Wi-Fi or whatever, it gets blurry, for a minute, and then maybe not even a minute, maybe just a few seconds. And so if you're willing to suffer that, you can do the experience of playing the game, and it's decent. Most of the time, if you've got a really good connection, like say you're at a coffee shop somewhere and you got a decent connection, it's fine. If you're in a hotel room, it works fine.
Mhm.
You don't have to bring your Windows computer with you. If you just brought your crappy laptop, which is also
Yeah.
Windows. Say you brought your Windows laptop that can't run that game,
Mhm.
but you play it at home and you just want to play it while you're in the hotel. Well, you can take your little crappy computer, your laptop with you and play the game, and it will feel pretty close. Like it depends on the hotel's Wi-Fi and the hotel's
Mhm.
connection. I always look for a cable, so I plug in when I can. I'm down on my hands and knees under the table, like looking for how to plug into the router. Usually I can find it. Like I would say 6 out of 10 times I bring my Ethernet cable and I can plug it into a hotel.
Which is good. That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's pretty good. So my mileage varies, of course, but it's worth it because you plug in and you're like, hey, I have a great connection, no latency, it's nice. And latency is
Mhm.
the big thing
Yeah.
in cloud gaming. If you can lower your latency, you have a better experience because then those frames come fast.
I'm curious how that would work with frame generation programs like lossless scaling. We talked about that maybe a few weeks ago, episodes ago, but where they will help generate frames when
Yeah,
games aren't running optimally for whatever reason. I wonder if you use that in conjunction with if with one of those platforms where you're cloud gaming. I don't know, but I'm wondering if that would help at all with performance and all that. Maybe
depends.
not. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, usually it's because what you've got in front of you sitting on your lap is not very powerful,
Right.
but it has a web browser, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So all the work is done somewhere else, and then it creates it into a frame and sends it to you like a movie, like you're watching YouTube.
Yeah.
So, mm, I wouldn't expect that to happen, but I know that the technology's there and that
Yeah.
they do better at this technology because of that experience. Like
Hmm.
they learned a lot when they set up the GeForce Now experience.
Hmm.
When they did that, they learned a lot about how to generate frames and to be able to get the frame to you no matter what, even if it was a lower resolution or maybe it's not where your eye was looking at the time. They took the part of the frame where your eye should be looking and cleaned that up at the
Hmm.
expense of not cleaning up where you're not looking, a little blurred out the edge or something like that. So they've gained a lot of technology because of the cloud gaming.
Yeah.
I feel like anyway. I know Nvidia's learned a lot. There
Yeah.
are other things, other cloud services. I know Google did it for a while. Arcadia, I
S-
think they call it, or Stadium.
oh yeah.
Stadium?
Mm,
Which
Google
one
and
was it?
Amazon too. Amazon's one of those, right?
Oh,
I feel like
maybe.
Amazon's Acadia and Google's maybe
Google's.
not.
But the thing is, Google stopped it. Google was
Yeah.
Stadia, I think, and they
Stadia.
stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They closed it down. But still, I mean, a way to play your game from some other platform. Hey,
Mhm.
that's pretty nice, especially if it's just a game that's simple or easy or whatever. You don't care about getting 300 frames per second. That's not important
Yeah.
because the thing is most games are playable at 30, right? You can do 30, and I often get 60 when I'm on, like when I'm playing on NVIDIA GeForce Now. I'm usually getting 60, and if it drops below 60, it kind of tells you, like it gives you this little kind of a little alert in the corner of the screen. You get an alert, like it does a little flash thing where it says basically you've got, you got some network problems.
Yeah.
And occasionally it will go ahead and disconnect you because the service is just not working well enough. You're going to experience bad times, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect you. Later when you have a better connection, come connect back. It does have the irritation a little bit where it's not like it's keeping the state of your game. It does not do that. You would think it would, because couldn't you save the state of my game for like 2 minutes so if I get knocked off I can jump back into it? No, they do not do that. Now I don't know if that's my tier. I have a low tier, so maybe in the higher tiers they're going to offer that service. I don't know, but that would be a nice ability to say, hey, I just got disconnected. I was right in the middle of that fight with that monster, on Subnautica or whatever. Man, I could have just jumped right into that. But
Mhm.
yeah, there are some games that I have 100% or nearly 100% experienced through NVIDIA GeForce Now.
Hmm.
And there was one game that they were a little bit lagging on the release for the Mac version. So I went ahead and jumped on it on NVIDIA, and I played that way for a while. It was about 6 months. So there, in that little span there, I still played the game. I was able to play the game at its latest version and not lose it. Now, eventually, their Mac version caught up again, and so we were fine. I think that all happened basically with the new M processors, M1, M2, M5.
Right,
Now,
right, yeah.
basically, when that happened, so a lot of publishers kind of had to retool a little bit. That happens. That's okay. But still, it's a good tool to have in your pocket if you really want to play a game, but your platform doesn't support it.
Yeah.
I kind
So
of
would
wish that Arcadia would come back, or our Stadium would come back, or whatever, because
yeah.
it needs competition.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah. Do you think that cloud gaming is going to be kind of the wave of the future in some ways, or?
With the problems with hardware, I think we're gonna probably start relying on it more,
Yeah.
and I think it could be expanded to include other things like educational settings.
Yeah.
So you think about like a Chromebook. Chromebooks were very popular in the education realm. I don't know if you noticed that. Like if you
Well,
have
yeah, yeah. They teach
nieces and
schools and
nephews,
everything. Yeah.
they probably brought home a Chromebook and say, well, this is what we're getting these days, and it's cheap. It's $200-300 for a Chromebook, and schools are giving you that now. Like, what am I going to do with this? But it allows you to connect to the cloud, right? You can do Google Docs and you can do Google Calendar and Google Email. It's all there. But given you have this browser, you can now connect to this service, which offers you much more, right? Like you can now emulate the idea that you're on a real desktop and you can run
Yeah.
some other software, right? You can just connect to a virtual machine running out there in the world somewhere. So we need that, especially when we
Yeah.
got hardware problems like the cost of RAM.
Oh, I
What if
know. It's
what if not
ridiculous.
only we had the cost of RAM, but the cost of CPUs suddenly jumped
Mm,
up? Think of what a disaster that would be right now. I mean,
yeah.
RAM's bad enough,
Yeah.
but how do we get through that? I mean, it's going to be temporary, right? It's going to be 2-3 years, right? We're going to suffer because of the loss of some, you know, a tariff or whatever. Well, we're going to recover, right? But
Yeah.
during that time, you could jump on a cloud, right? You could do this, do it some other way. It's a nice tool to have in your pocket if you got to use it. So,
Hmm.
and I've often done that, and that's the only way I play Elite Dangerous. I have
Yeah.
never played Elite Dangerous other than on a cloud. So,
Great space game. Great
and
space
it is great.
game.
Space Engineers as well. I've never played it
Oh, yeah, yeah.
except on that. So anyway, I think that about does it. Unless you wanted to talk more about cloud gaming,
I think we covered things pretty well.
and I think
We'll
we're at our
see what the
time limit.
future holds with it.
our sort of line in the sand time limit?
Yeah, we're right about that point, about an hour.
All right. So, would you like to talk with us? Send us an email. Feel free to send us a message. We do have a website, and for some reason it is not in the notes.
Oh, well, that's
What is the website?
strange. Hold
Gaming.
on. I got this. Give me 1 second. I don't know why it's not there.
I think I did it. I made this, so I took some other.
Oh, yeah, it's mjandbluegaming.card.co.
There you go. Thank you very much.
No
So,
problem.
if you'd like to click there, you can get a bio of what. Hey, what does that blue do for work? I'm interested. Well, you can go to his bio page and take a look at it, and you can learn where he comes from, what his experience is. Me, the same way. So you can share with us your gaming history. Maybe you disagreed with us. I don't know why you would, but maybe. You can send us an email, a comment. Also, feel free to comment and subscribe on YouTube because we do offer this on YouTube, which has been nice. It's been nice to see the comments out there sometimes. Um, Maybe we will share your thoughts online. Can't promise it, but maybe depends on what language you use, or what whether you hate us or not. If you feel like you've gotten some kind of value out of this podcast, please consider supporting us. Eventually, we're going to have a Patreon thing going, but we're still working on that. Yes, we still haven't figured things out. But for now, you can do Buy Me a Coffee. We have a Buy Me a Coffee account in the description, so please go there, buy us a coffee, throw us a few dollars if you like. I like coffee. You like coffee? I like coffee.
Coffee? Love coffee. Yeah.
Every little bit can help us and continue to improve the podcast. Right now, we're just reinvesting in the podcast. So we hope that you will be able to immediately experience something good from your money that you give to us. So
And
with that,
I would, MJ, just before we go, just a little shout out to someone who did comment recently on our episode, Brenna Jones.
oh, cool.
5280. There is their account number. Thanks for your comment. I tried to respond to you. Um, we'll try to keep up with that too. MJ, same thing. I think you have access to our. Actually, you have personal access to it if you want to put your name before it and make a comment on it, so
Yeah.
people can respond.
I did check out. She's got a podcast too.
Oh,
Did you know
really?
that?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I did not.
Check her out. She's got a podcast. She does something with Korean romantic. I can't remember what they call it. It's Korean romance type stuff. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what to call it. It's basically like, but it's in Korean. Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing that I don't do. So, but I've watched it. It's pretty interesting.
There you
Her
go.
and her
Well.
daughter, I think, they get it on and they talk about it. So, just like us, they got some things to say. So go check her out too. Thanks for
Look
commenting.
at
Appreciate it.
you. See, you comment, you get a shout out from us. There you
Hey, that's right.
go.
For free.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead and comment if you want. Every little bit helps. Helps to get us in the algorithm. I guess I don't know how else to say it.
No.
But I have been MJ.
And I'm Blue. Have a good one, everybody.
Well, bye.